You think you can sneak in here and grab what's not yours, don't you? People like you always do, Charles Wentworth snarled, his finger jabbing toward Sarah Thompson's chest as she froze mid-step in the dimly lit executive office. The door had barely clicked shut behind her and her son, Mikey, when Charles burst in from the shadows, his eyes narrowing on the open safe gleaming with stacks of cash under the desk lamp. Sarah's hand tightened around Michael's small one, her knuckles whitening as the boy's wide eyes darted to the exposed fortune. $10,000 in crisp bills, scattered like bait. James Harper, slumped in his leather armchair across the room, held his breath, his eyelids cracked just enough to watch the trap unfold, his pulse racing from the betrayal that had scarred him weeks ago. Sarah's jaw clenched, her breath hitching as Charles advanced, his polished shoes thudding against the carpet. "Sigh, I'm just here to clean," she started, her voice steady but edged with steel, pulling Michael closer to her side. The boy, 8 years old with a backpack slung over one shoulder, stared up at the towering man, his tiny frame trembling. Charles cut her off with a sharp laugh, his face twisting into a sneer. "Clean? Is that what you call it? With that kid tagging along like this? Is this some welfare playground? I saw you eyeing that safe the moment you walked in. Admit it, you were going for it." He circled her, his voice dropping to a venomous whisper, close enough for her to smell his expensive cologne mixed with contempt. Sarah's shoulders squared, her free hand balling into a fist at her side, nails digging into her palm until they drew a faint sting. Michael's lower lip quivered, but he pressed against his mother's leg, silent, his small fingers clutching her uniform pants. The accusation hung heavy, Charles's words slicing through the air like accusations forged in prejudice. "I've watched you, Thompson, night after night, bringing that boy into a place he doesn't belong. What kind of mother does that? Exposing him to temptation, or maybe teaching him your tricks?" Sarah's eyes flashed with fury, her chest rising and falling rapidly, but she forced her gaze to meet his without flinching. "My son is here because I have no choice, Mr. Wentworth, and we don't touch what's not ours." Charles barked a retort, stepping closer, his breath hot on her face. "No choice? That's the excuse you people always use. I bet if I check that safe right now, something's missing." He lunged toward it, rummaging through the bills with deliberate roughness, his fingers scattering them further, as if daring her to react. James, still feigning sleep, felt a knot twist in his gut, his plan to test humanity now spiraling into something uglier, his hands gripping the armrest beneath the pretense of slumber. Sarah's heart pounded, a storm building inside her, as Michael's soft whimper broke the tension. "Mommy, why is he mad?" the boy whispered, his voice barely audible, eyes glistening with unshed tears. Charles whirled on him, his face reddening. "Quiet, kid. This isn't your playground." Sarah yanked Michael behind her, her body a shield, her voice cracking like a whip. "Don't you dare speak to my son like that." But Charles pressed on, calling out to the hallway where a security guard lingered. "Get in here. We've got a thief." The guard rushed in, his hand on his radio, eyes flicking uncertainly between them. Sarah's knees buckled slightly under the weight of the stare, but she stood tall, her chin lifted defiantly, refusing to crumble. The guard hesitated, but Charles shoved him forward. "Search her, now!" Sarah's arms wrapped protectively around Michael, her breath ragged, as the boy's small hands slipped into hers, squeezing tight. James's mind raced, the scene burning into him, the cash in the safe now a symbol of fractured trust. Charles's triumph gleamed in his eyes as he towered over them, his voice booming. "You'll be out on the street by morning, Thompson, and take your little shadow with you." Sarah's teeth ground together, pain shooting through her jaw, but she held her ground, her eyes locking onto his with unyielding resolve. The guard's hands hovered, reluctant, as the room pulsed with unspoken rage. Michael's tiny voice piped up again, defiant in his innocence. "We didn't do anything wrong." Charles's laugh echoed, cruel and final, but Sarah's grip on her son tightened, her resolve hardening like iron. The confrontation escalated, each word a spark igniting the next, until the air crackled with impending ruin. James, witnessing it all, felt the first crack in his cynicism, the boy's untouched integrity clashing against the venom spewed. Yet the storm raged on, Charles unrelenting, pushing Sarah to the brink as the guard finally moved in, his radio crackling to life with calls for backup. Sarah's pulse thundered in her ears, her body coiled for the fight. Michael's tears now streaming silently down his cheeks. The office, once a place of quiet labor, now a battlefield of bias and betrayal, left James frozen in his chair, the test he set in motion revealing far more than he bargained for. "Touch me and you'll regret it," Sarah Thompson hissed through clenched teeth, her arms shooting out to block the guard's advance. Her body a wall between him and Michael. The guard's fingers halted inches from her sleeve, his eyes widening at the fire in her stare. But Charles Wentworth shoved him forward again, his face contorted in rage. "Do your job! She's a thief! Strip her down if you have to." Sarah's muscles tensed, her nails digging deeper into her palms, drawing tiny beads of blood that stung like accusations. Michael's sobs broke free now, muffled against her hip, his small body shaking as he buried his face in her uniform, whispering, "Mommy, make him stop." Her heart shattered at the plea, but she straightened her spine, refusing to let them see her break, her voice cutting sharp as a blade. "You won't lay a hand on me or my boy. I clean this place spotless every night, and I've never taken a dime." Charles lunged closer, his breath ragged, cutting her off mid-sentence. "Lies! I saw you hovering by that safe. Your kind always—" Sarah's eyes blazed, her fist unclenching just enough to point at him, her words exploding like gunfire. "My kind! Say it, Wentworth. Say what you mean." The guard shifted uneasily, his radio crackling static. But Charles barreled on, his voice rising to a roar. "Black trash like you, dragging your brat into my building, thinking you deserve a piece of the pie. Admit it, you were eyeing that cash." Sarah's chest heaved, fury boiling over, her free hand snapping up to shield Michael's ears from the venom. The boy peeked out, his tear-streaked face pale, but he gripped her leg tighter, his innocence a stark contrast to the storm raging around them. James Harper, still slumped in his chair, felt his feigned sleep cracking, his fingers twitching under the armrest, the scene searing into him like acid, the mother's unyielding shield, the child's terror, the executive's unchecked bile. The guard hesitated again, glancing at Charles, but Sarah seized the moment, her voice dropping to a lethal calm. "Call the police if you want. Let them see how you treat a single mom just doing her job." Charles's face purpled, his hand slamming down on the desk beside the open safe, scattering a few bills onto the floor. "Police! Oh, they'll love this. Another welfare queen caught red-handed." Sarah's knees locked, her body rigid against the onslaught. But inside a firestorm raged, memories flashing of endless shifts, scraped together meals, and the husband lost to a construction accident years ago. Michael's whimpers grew louder, his small hand tugging at her pants. "Mommy, let's go home." She knelt swiftly, pulling him into a fierce hug, her lips brushing his ear. "We will, baby, and we'll walk out with our heads high." Charles scoffed, circling them like a predator, his words whipping out. "High? You'll crawl out, fired and blacklisted. No one hires thieves." Sarah rose slowly, her embrace breaking just enough to face him, her eyes locking onto his with scorching intensity. "Fired? For what? Cleaning while black? You've been gunning for me since day one, Wentworth. Jealous I see more of this office at night than you do in daylight?" The guard's radio buzzed again, summoning reinforcements. But Sarah's defiance surged, her voice steady despite the tremor in her limbs. "My son watches me work hard every day. He knows right from wrong, and so will everyone when this blows up." Charles cut in, his laugh barking harshly. "Blows up? You're done here." But Sarah pressed on, her words a torrent now, each one building on the last like falling dominoes. "You'll regret this. Honesty wins out, even against men like you." Michael's hand slipped from hers momentarily, reaching toward the safe where he'd earlier arranged the bills in neat stacks, his tiny act of order hidden in the chaos. The guard finally grabbed her elbow, yanking her toward the door, but Sarah wrenched free with a snarl, her arm swinging protectively. "Let go!" Michael's cry pierced the air, high and desperate, as he clung to her. Charles advanced one last time, his finger jabbing again. Out, both of you! Sarah scooped Michael up, her muscles burning from the effort, her breath coming in gasps as she backed toward the exit, her final glare piercing through Charles like a dagger. This isn't over. You'll see. The truth always comes out. The door slammed behind them, echoing through the hallway, leaving Charles panting in victory, the safe's contents untouched, but the room thick with unresolved fury. James's eyes fluttered open fully now, his body rigid in the chair, the memento of Michael's note burning in his pocket like a promise of reckoning yet to come. As Sarah stormed down the corridor, Michael's head on her shoulder, her steps echoed with unbowed resolve, a silent prophecy hanging in the air for the man left watching in the shadows. Damn you, Wentworth, always jumping to the gutter, James Harper muttered under his breath, his eyelids snapping open the instant the door slammed shut behind Sarah and Michael, the echo ricocheting through the empty office like a gunshot. He bolted upright in the leather armchair, his fingers clawing into the armrests, veins bulging on his neck as the feigned sleep shattered under the weight of what he'd just witnessed. Charles stood there, chest heaving, a smug grin splitting his face, wiping sweat from his brow with the back of his hand. Finally rid of that trash. Should have done it sooner. James's blood boiled, his fists clenching until his knuckles cracked, but he forced a neutral tone, rising slowly. What the hell was that? You just accused her without proof. Charles whirled, his eyes narrowing, cutting him off with a sharp wave. Proof? I saw her lurking by the safe. Her and that kid. You know how they are, James. Always scheming. James's jaw tightened, his steps deliberate as he crossed to the open safe, the stacks of cash drawing his gaze like a magnet. His hand plunged in, expecting chaos from Charles's earlier rummage. But his fingers met neat bundles, bills sorted by denomination, edges aligned with precision that screamed innocence. Wait, this isn't how I left it. Charles leaned in, his breath hot and ragged. What? She must have... James yanked out a small folded paper from atop the stacks, his eyes scanning the childish scrawl. Mr. Harper, the money was messy. I fixed it like Mom says to do at home. Don't worry, I didn't take any. Michael's words hit like a punch, James's chest constricting, his free hand slamming against the safe's edge. The boy did this. He organized it. Instead of stealing. Charles snorted, grabbing for the note, but James jerked it away, his voice rising. You heard her, kid? He didn't touch a bill except to tidy it up. The room spun for James, his mind flashing to the embezzlement that had gutted him. 20 million gone from a trusted partner, now clashing with this raw display of honesty from a child dragged into the crossfire. Charles pressed closer, his finger jabbing at the note. Kid's lying to cover for her. You can't trust. James cut him off, his roar echoing off the walls. Trust? You just humiliated a woman based on nothing but your bigotry. Charles's face flushed crimson, his hands balling into fists. Bigotry? It's reality, James. I've seen it. Employees like her, always with excuses. James's pulse thundered in his ears, his body trembling with suppressed rage, as he shoved the note into his pocket, the paper crumpling under his grip. But as he rifled deeper into the safe to confirm the count, his fingers brushed something foreign. A crisp envelope tucked beneath the bottom stack, unmarked, its seal unbroken. What is this? James ripped it open, his eyes widening at the document inside. A forged real estate contract, signatures mismatched, dates altered in a clumsy bid to hide discrepancies. Charles froze, his breath hitching, but he recovered with a forced laugh. Probably junk, old paperwork. James's glare pierced him, his hand crushing the edge of the paper. This isn't mine. Someone planted it. The implications hit like a freight train, James's mind racing through nights of paranoia, the safe's contents now tainted by this anomaly. Charles backed away, his voice sharpening. Don't overthink it. Focus on the thief we just caught. But James advanced, the contract thrust forward like a weapon. Caught? You mean the woman who left without a penny, whose son fixed my mess? This, whatever this is, smells wrong. Charles cut in, his tone venomous. You're soft, Harper. letting sentiment cloud judgment. James's fist slammed the desk, the safe rattling, bills fluttering slightly. Soft? I'm seeing clearly for the first time. Get out before I fire you on the spot. Charles stormed toward the door, his parting shot slicing back. You'll regret defending her. Mark my words. The slam reverberated, leaving James alone, his breath coming in gasps, the note from Michael burning against his thigh. He sank back into the chair, the contract spread before him, his fingers tracing the forged lines, doubt creeping in like poison. Who put this here? His whisper hung in the air, the office's silence mocking him, as memories of betrayal resurfaced. His partner smirked during the audit, the empty accounts. But Michael's act pierced through, a child's purity clashing with the deceit unfolding. James's hands shook, folding the note carefully, his resolve hardening with each crease. She didn't deserve that. Neither did the boy. He paced, his shoes scuffing the carpet, the safe's glow casting long shadows that danced like accusations. The forged document gnawed at him, its details blurring under his stare. Property values inflated, signatures too perfect. This could be linked, he growled, shoving it into his drawer, his mind chaining events. The open safe, Sarah's arrival, Charles's timely intrusion. Regret clawed at his throat, thick and unrelenting, for setting the trap that unleashed this nightmare. I started this to test trust, and now look. His fist pounded the armrest, pain shooting up his arm, but it fueled the fire. Michael's words echoed in his head, a beacon amid the storm, urging him toward action. Honesty from a kid, while men like Charles spew hate. James's eyes stung, unshed tears of frustration building as he grabbed his coat, the office door beckoning like a path to redemption. Yet the envelope's mystery lingered, a hook buried deep, pulling him into unknown depths. The night's events a prelude to revelations that would shatter illusions. You're a fool if you think that woman's innocent. Her type always plays the victim. Charles Wentworth spat over the phone, his voice crackling with disdain as James Harper gripped the receiver tighter, his knuckles whitening until they ached. James slammed the phone down mid-sentence, his fist pounding the desk, the forged contract fluttering from the impact. Enough of your poison. His breath exploded in ragged bursts, pacing the office like a caged beast, the note from Michael clutched in his other hand, its edges creasing under his thumb. She didn't steal. The boy proved it. Charles's words echoed in his skull, fueling the fire, but James shoved them aside, his jaw locking with determination. He grabbed his keys, storming out the door, his shoes slamming against the marble floor. Each step a declaration of pursuit. The elevator doors hissed shut behind him, James's reflection staring back, eyes bloodshot, tie askew from the night's chaos. Where are you, Sarah? He punched the address from her personnel file into his phone, his fingers flying, the screen blurring under his glare. The car roared to life in the underground garage, tires screeching as he peeled out into the New York night, horns blaring in response. She lives in Brooklyn, 2 jobs, single mom. His mind raced, piecing together fragments. Her defiant stance against Charles, Michael's trembling grip on her leg, the untouched safe now a monument to his misjudgment. I set the trap, and she paid for it. Traffic lights blurred past, James weaving through lanes, his horn blasting at a slow cab. Move! The driver's shout back ignited his temper, but he swerved away, his grip on the wheel ironclad, sweat beading on his forehead. Brooklyn's streets narrowed, brownstones looming like silent judges, James's luxury sedan out of place among the parked beaters. He pulled up to the address, engine cutting with a growl, his door flying open. Apartment 3B! He bounded up the stoop, fist hammering the buzzer, his breath heaving. No answer. Sarah, it's James Harper. I need to talk. A neighbor's door cracked, an elderly woman's eye peering out. She's at work. School cleaning shift. Try PS 142. James's frustration boiled over, his fist slamming the wall, pain shooting up his arm. Damn it! He spun on his heel, diving back into the car, tires spinning gravel as he accelerated toward the school, his mind chaining regrets. The open safe, Charles's accusations, Sarah's unyielding glare. I owe her the truth. The school loomed, lights flickering in the windows, James parking illegally, badge flashing to the night janitor. Sarah Thompson, where? The man pointed down the hall, his voice gruff. Jim! Mopping! James charged in, his footsteps echoing off the lockers, bursting through the doors. Sarah froze mid-swipe, mop handle cracking against the floor as she whirled, her eyes widening in shock. You, what the hell are you doing here? James halted, hands raised, his voice cracking. Sarah, wait, I saw everything. The safe, your boy, he didn't take anything. She advanced, mop thrust like a spear, her knuckles white. Saw? You were asleep, or pretending. James cut in, stepping closer. Pretending. To test. Trust. But Charles? Sarah jabbed the mop forward, stopping him short. Charles, your lapdog. He called me trash because of my skin. James's face flushed, his hands bawling. He's wrong. I found the boy's note. He organized the cash. Sarah's breath hitched, her shoulders tensing, but she shoved the mop aside, her voice slicing. Michael, you think that fixes it? You let him humiliate us. James pressed on, his words tumoring. I'm here to fix it. Tell me about him. Your life. She crossed her arms, her chin lifting defiantly. Why? So you can pity the black widow scraping by? James's gut twisted, his hand reaching out but dropping. No pity. Respect. 2 jobs. School by day, my office by night. Michael's homework is in the waiting room. Sarah's eyes narrowed, her fist clenching. You checked my file? Stalking now? James cut back, his tone urgent. Researching. To understand. Charles noted you as unreliable. Lies. She spun away, grabbing the mop again, her strokes furious against the floor. Unreliable? Because I bring my son? No sitter. Can't afford it. James followed, his shadow merging with hers. I get it now. Your strength. It's real. The conversation ignited, each revelation sparking the next. Sarah's husband lost in a crane collapse, her double shifts to keep the lights on. Michael's straight A's despite the chaos. James's regret deepened, his voice softening. I lost $20 million to a partner, trusted him. That's why the test. Sarah halted, her breath ragged. Test? On us? Like lab rats? James nodded, his eyes pleading. Stupid. But Michael's act changed me. She faced him, her arms dropping, exhaustion etching her features. He learned from me. Honesty above all. James pulled out the note, handing it over, his fingers brushing hers. This proves it. Sarah's hand trembled, reading her son's words, her throat tightening. He fixed your mess, while you watched us burn. James's pursuit intensified, following her as she resumed mopping, his questions probing deeper, her foster care youth, high school diploma earned through night classes, pregnancy at 22, with a vanishing father. You built this life alone. Sarah's mop slapped harder, her voice cracking. Alone? With vultures like Charles circling? James's anger flared anew. He's targeted you. Why? She paused, her breath steadying. Seen him late nights, shady papers. Avoids me. James's mind linked it to the forged contract, his fist clenching. That envelope, in the safe. Not mine. Sarah's eyes flashed. Planted? By him? The idea exploded between them, James's resolve hardening. I'll dig. But first, come back. Your job's safe. She shook her head, her stance unyielding. Safe? After that? James pressed closer, his voice urgent. With a raise. For you. For Michael. Sarah's hesitation cracked, her hand gripping the mop tighter. Not charity, James cut in. Earned. The gym echoed with their breaths, tension coiling, as James extended his hand. Let me prove it. Sarah stared, her decision teetering, but she turned away, her mop resuming its rhythm. Follow me home. See for yourself. James nodded, trailing her out, the school's doors banging shut behind them, his car idling as they drove to Brooklyn. silence thick with unspoken alliances. At her apartment, James stepped in, Michael's drawings on the fridge hitting him like accusations, stick figures of a mom and boy, strong against the world. He draws you as a hero. Sarah's lips quirked, her fatigue evident. He is the hero. James's search deepened, sitting at her kitchen table, poring over her story, each detail forging a bond. Charles's notes, biased. I'll confront him. Sarah's hand slammed down. Confront, fire him. James's eyes met hers, fire mirroring fire. If guilty, yes. The night wore on, revelations chaining, Charles's past complaints against minority staff, Sarah's suspicions of his late-night dealings. James's phone buzzed, Charles texting threats, but he ignored it, focusing on her. This ends with justice. As dawn crept in, James rose, his body aching from the vigil, but his spirit ignited. I'll find proof. Sarah's nod sealed it, her hand briefly touching his arm. For Michael. He left, the door clicking shut, the forged contract burning in his pocket, pulling him toward the next confrontation. The hunt had only begun, James's steps quickening toward revelations that would upend everything. The note from Michael, a talisman in his quest. You think a rich white man's apology wipes away years of scraping by? Wentworth's boot on my neck? Sarah Thompson snarled, her mop handle cracking against the gym wall as she whirled on James, her eyes blazing with unquenched fire from their earlier clash. James halted mid-step, his hand outstretched, but she shoved past him, her strides pounding the linoleum, each one fueling her rage. Follow if you dare. See how we survive. James's jaw clenched, his pursuit unbroken, trailing her down the dim hallway, the school's fluorescent hum mocking their tension. Sarah's shoulders hunched forward, her uniform damp with sweat, but her posture screamed defiance, her fist pumping with each step like a heartbeat of resistance. She burst through a side door into the custodian's closet, shelves groaning under supplies, her hand snatching a bucket with a clang that echoed her fury. This is my world. Buckets and bleach, not your penthouse polish. James squeezed in behind her, his frame filling the space, his breath hot on her neck. Sarah, listen. She cut him off, wheeling around, bucket slamming down, water sloshing over the rim onto his shoes. Listen, to more excuses? Charles calls me trash. You let him. James's face hardened, his hand gripping the shelf until wood creaked. Not anymore. I saw Michael's note, his honesty. Sarah's laugh barked sharply, her fingers digging into the bucket handle, nails splintering the plastic. Honesty? That's all we have. Come, see it. She stormed out, bucket swinging, James dodging the splash, his shoes squelching as he followed her into a classroom. Desks scattered like obstacles. Sarah dumped the water, her mop attacking the floor with vicious strokes, grime flying. Michael waits in the hall, doing homework while I scrub. James glanced out, spotting the boy hunched over a notebook, pencil flying, his small face furrowed in concentration. He's smart. Straight A's. Sarah's mop slapped harder, her voice cracking. Smart? Despite men like you testing us like rats. James advanced, his hand reaching for her arm, but she yanked away, mop thrusting forward. Don't touch. Follow. To the break room. Her strides lengthened, James matching pace, the air thick with her sweat and determination. In the cramped break room, vending machines humming, Sarah collapsed into a chair, her body sagging but eyes unyielding. Sit, if you can stomach it. James dropped opposite, his knees banging the table, his gaze locked on her. Tell me more, your strength. She leaned forward, her elbows slamming down, voice slicing. Strength? Born from loss, husband crushed under steel beams, no payout, just bills. James's fist tightened under the table, his knuckles grinding. I didn't know, Sarah cut in, her hand slapping the surface. No, you billionaires never do. Michael was 3, watched me cry, then helped stack coins for rent. The boy's voice drifted in from the hall, humming a tune, his pencil scratching steadily. Sarah's throat bobbed, her fingers tracing invisible scars on her palms. He draws heroes. Me as one, but heroes bleed. James's regret surged, his chair scraping back as he rose. But Sarah bolted up, blocking him. Not done. Follow. To the storage. She charged ahead, James trailing, her keyring jangling like chains. The storage room door creaked open, boxes towering. Sarah diving in, hauling out supplies with grunts that betrayed her exhaustion. This, my arsenal. Clean schools by day, your empire by night. James grabbed a box to help, his muscles straining, but she snatched it away. Don't. Earn your view. Her arms flexed, stacking with precision, her breath exploding in bursts. Community center next, volunteer shifts, feed the hungry, tutor kids like Michael. James's eyes widened, his voice urgent. You do all that? Sarah's glare pierced him. All that? While dodging bigots like Charles. She shoved past, leading him out the back door to her beat-up car, engine sputtering to life. Get in. See the center. James crammed in, the seat creaking under him, Sarah gunning the accelerator, tires screeching. Michael rides shotgun usually, sings to keep me awake. The boy waved from the school steps as they peeled away, his small figure shrinking. Sarah's hands strangled the wheel, her voice dropping low. He dreams big, lawyer, to fight injustice. James's gut twisted, his hand hovering near hers. Because of tonight? She swerved around a pothole, her laugh bitter. Tonight, every night, Charles's slurs, echoes of a lifetime. The center loomed, lights blazing, and Sarah parked with a jolt. Inside, watch. Bursting through the doors, aromas of soup hitting them, Sarah dove into action, ladle flying, serving lines of weary faces. Here, take this. James fumbled a bowl, his sleeves rolling up as he joined, his pores shaky but earnest. Who's this? A volunteer barked. Sarah cut in. Boss, learning. Laughter erupted, but Sarah's ladle clanged on, her movements fluid, exhaustion masked by purpose. These people, my family, lost jobs like me almost did. James's ladle paused, his eyes on her. You help, even after shifts? She nodded, her spoon thrusting forward. Help or break? A child tugged her apron, his eyes wide. Miss Sarah, story time? She knelt, her arms enveloping him, voice softening. Later, sweetie, eat first. James watched, his chest tightening as Sarah moved seamlessly, serving, hugging, listening to tales of eviction and struggle. You're their rock. She rose, her back cracking audibly. Rock, cracked one, but I stand. The night deepened, Sarah's energy unflagging, directing volunteers with sharp commands, her laughter rare but genuine. James pitched in, his hands blistering from unaccustomed labor, but her pace drove him. Follow, to the back. In the supply room, she hauled boxes of donations, her grunts echoing. Clothes for families. Michael sorts them. James lifted one, his arms burning. Let me. She allowed it, their shoulders brushing, a spark of alliance igniting. As the center quieted, Sarah slumped against a wall, her breath ragged. This, my world, not your tests. James faced her, his voice raw. I see it now, your power. She pushed off, leading him out, her key turning in the lock with a final click. Home now. Michael waits. The drive back was silent but charged, James's mind reeling from her unyielding spirit, the note in his pocket a bridge between worlds. Sarah's world pulsed with unbreakable will, James's intrusion a catalyst for deeper bonds, the forged document whispering of threats yet to face. You barge into my life like you own it. Another white savior fixing the black woman's mess? Sarah Thompson exploded, her ladle clattering into the soup pot as she spun on James Harper in the community center's kitchen, steam rising like her fury. James recoiled, his hands raised in surrender, but she advanced, her apron snapping with the motion, her finger jabbing his chest. Apology? After letting Charles gut me in front of my boy? James's jaw locked, his breath exploding out. Sarah, stop. I'm here to make it right. She cut him off, her hands slamming the counter, utensils rattling. Right? By stalking me to my jobs? Think your guilt buys forgiveness? James pressed forward, his voice sharpening. Guilt? Yes, damn it. The safe test was mine, but Charles twisted it. I saw Michael's note. He's pure gold. Sarah's chest heaved, her fists balling at her sides, nails biting into skin until pain flared. Pure? While you watched us burn? Get out, before I call security. James blocked the door, his frame unyielding. Not leaving. Not until you hear me. She shoved him, her palms flat against his chest, force rippling through her arms. Here? I've heard enough slurs tonight. James staggered but held ground, his hands gripping her wrists gently but firmly. Slurs from Charles, not me. Fire him? Done, if you help. Sarah wrenched free, her wrists burning from the contact, her glare lethal. Help! You need me now. After the humiliation. James's eyes pleaded, his voice dropping low. Yes, that envelope in the safe. Forged. Charles's handiwork? Sarah froze, her breath hitching, the ladle's drip punctuating the silence. Forged. I saw him shuffling papers late, avoided my eyes. The admission ignited the air, James latching on, his words tumoring. Proof. We'll get it together. Sarah's laugh cracked bitterly, her body sagging against the counter. Together? Billionaire and janitor? Sounds like a trap. James cut in, his hands slamming down beside hers. No trap. Raise your pay. Double. Michael's school. Covered. She whirled, her apron whipping. Charity? I don't beg. James's frustration boiled, his fist pounding the steel sink. Earned, not charity. Your strength. It's what my company needs. Sarah's eyes narrowed, her arms crossing tight, squeezing until her muscles ached. Needs? To clean up your messes? He nodded, stepping closer. More. Advisor on fairness. Expose Charles. The offer hung, Sarah's resolve cracking, her throat tightening. Advisor? After tonight's hell? Volunteers bustled in, pots clanging, but Sarah yanked James into a side pantry, door slamming shut, shelves pressing in. Fine, talk. But conditions. James nodded eagerly, his back against canned goods. Name them. Sarah's finger jabbed again. 1. Fire Charles publicly. Humiliate him like he did me. James's agreement exploded. Done. She pressed on, her voice a whip. 2. Scholarship for Michael. No strings. James's hand extended. Agreed. Sarah ignored it, her condition changing. 3. Investigate that envelope. If Charles planted it, ruin him. James's grip tightened on a shelf, wood groaning. We'll dig, now. Sarah's hesitation shattered, her hand finally clasping his in a vice grip, bones grinding. Deal, but betray me, I'll destroy you. The handshake sealed it, electricity surging, Sarah pulling away first, her skin tingling. Start with proof. James fished out his phone, dialing fast, his voice barking orders. Security, pull tonight's footage. Sarah leaned in, her shoulder brushing his, tension coiling. Footage? Of the safe? He nodded, speaker crackling with confirmation. Sent. The video loaded, grainy but damning. Charles rummaging, his hand slipping something in before accusing her. Sarah's gasp ripped out. Bastard! Planted it! James's rage flared, his phone cracking in his grip. More! That receipt Michael found matches the forgery. Sarah's eyes widened, her hand snatching the phone. Michael? He picked it up near the safe. Thought it was trash. The revelation hit, Sarah's mind racing, her fingers flying over the screen. Numbers. Offshore account? James zoomed in, his breath hot. Mine? No. Charles's shell. Sarah's triumph surged, her fist pumping. Got him. But James halted her, his hand on her arm. Wait. Deeper. This ties to my embezzlement loss. Sarah yanked free. Your loss? While I fight for scraps? James cut back. Our fight now. Alliance. She nodded, reluctant fire in her eyes. Fine. But lead. Follow my gut. James agreed, his phone pocketing. Your center. Fund it too. Sarah's refusal exploded. No. Earn trust first. They emerged from the pantry, volunteers staring, but Sarah waved them off, her commands sharp. Back to work. James pitched in again, his ladle steady now, alliance forging in the steam. Tell me more. Charles's habits. Sarah's whispers chained details. Late nights, locked drawers, whispered calls. James's notes flew on his phone. We'll hit his office tomorrow. Sarah's nod sealed it, her exhaustion battling resolve. For Michael. As the center emptied, Sarah locked up, James at her side, the key turning with finality. Home, rest. But James insisted. Drive you. The car ride pulsed with plans, Sarah's direction sharp, her hand gesturing wildly. Left. Avoid cops. James swerved, his questions probing. Michael's dad. What happened? Sarah's voice cracked. Crane fell. Company skimped safety, like your world. Arrival at her building, stairs creaking under their feet, Sarah's door unlocking. Michael rushed out, hugging her legs. Mom, who's he? Sarah knelt, her arms enveloping him. Friend, helping. James crouched, his voice soft. Your note. Save the day, kid. Michael's grin flashed, his small hand extending. Really? Sarah rose, her conditions reiterated. Remember, public firing. James's vow rang. Sworn. As he left, Sarah's door clicking shut, the forged receipt in his pocket weighed heavily, a key to unlock secrets. The fragile piece held promise. James's steps descending with purpose. The envelope's mystery beckoning toward confrontations that would bind or break them. You slimy rat, spreading lies about me like I'm some street hustler stealing scraps from your ivory tower? Sarah Thompson snarled, her fist pounding Charles Wentworth's office door as it flew open, her body charging in like a battering ram, eyes locked on him mid-phone call. Charles's chair scraped back, his face twisting in shock, receiver slamming down. Thompson, how dare you barge in? You're fired. Sarah advanced, her finger stabbing the air inches from his nose. Fired? For what? Exposing your dirty hands in that safe. Charles leapt up, his desk edge cracking under his grip, veins bulging on his forehead. Get out! Security! But Sarah cut him off, her voice a whip crack. Security? Call them! Let them hear how you plant forgeries on black folks to cover your ass. Charles's laugh erupted cruelly, his hand snatching a file, hurling it at her feet, papers scattering like accusations. Ellen Carter burst through the side door, her clipboard clattering to the floor, her stance rigid as she positioned herself between them, her eyes flashing at Charles. Enough, Mr. Wentworth, back off. Charles whirled on her, his finger jabbing her shoulder. You? Stay out, secretary, or whatever you are. This trash. Ellen shoved his hand away, her nails raking his skin, drawing a thin red line. Trash? Try again. I'm no secretary. Sarah's confusion flared, her arms crossing tight, muscles coiling. Who the hell are you? Ellen's glare shifted, her voice slicing. Ellen Carter, undercover, journalist, been watching this snake for months. Charles's rage exploded, his fist slamming the desk again, drawers rattling open. Lies! You're fired too. Both of you. Ellen advanced, her body blocking his path, her words chaining accusations. Fired? For digging into your embezzlement? Offshore accounts? Ring a bell? Sarah's breath hitched, her hand grabbing Ellen's arm, yanking her back. Undercover? In my fight? Ellen wrenched free, her elbow jabbing Sarah's side. Your fight? This is bigger. Charles has been siphoning millions, blaming minorities like you. Charles cut in, his roar deafening. Proof? You have nothing. But Ellen thrust a hidden recorder forward, her thumb clicking play, his voice echoing from the device. Late-night calls, whispered deals. Sarah's fury reignited, her foot stomping the scattered papers. That's him, planting that envelope. Charles lunged for the recorder, his hands clawing, but Ellen sidestepped, her knee driving into his thigh. Touch it! Jail faster! He doubled over, breath gasping, his eyes wild. You bitches! Ruining everything! The confrontation escalated, Charles recovering with a snarl, his hand snatching the phone. Security! Now! Sarah blocked the receiver, her palm slapping it down. Too late, James knows. Charles's face paled, his body slumping against the wall, sweat pouring. Harper, he'll believe me. Old boys club. Ellen's laugh barked sharply, her recorder pocketing. Not with footage. Your whispers caught. Sarah pressed closer, her breath hot on his face. Whispers? About framing me? Charles shoved her back, his strength surging, but Ellen tackled his arm, twisting it behind him. Admit it. Sea of black employees, easy targets. Charles's groan ripped out, his free hand flailing. Let go. It's business. Survival. Sarah's knee connected with his gut, air whooshing from him. Survival? On our backs? Ellen released him, her stance unyielding, as Charles crumpled, gasping. More. His family ties. Daddy's influence. Covering tracks. Sarah's eyes widened, her fist clenching anew. Family. In on it. Ellen nodded, her words tumoring. Cousin in accounting. Fudging numbers. Charles crawled up, his voice venomous. Shut up, or I'll sue. But Ellen cut him off, her phone dialing. Sue? Try prison. Security pounded at the door, fists hammering. Sarah barred it, her back braced. Not yet. Confess. Charles's defiance cracked, his body shaking. Confess? To what? Keeping order? Ellen's recorder replayed, his deals exposed, his face draining color. Order? Theft! Sarah's triumph surged, her hand yanking his collar. Theft from James. Blame us. The guards burst in, batons drawn, but Ellen flashed her badge, press pass hidden till now. Stand down, witnessing crime. Guards hesitated, their grips loosening. Charles roared, charging them. Arrest these intruders! But one guaranteed Ellen, his radio crackling. She's legit, investigative. Sarah's alliance with Ellen solidified, her shoulder bumping hers. Partners now? Ellen's nod is sharp. Against him, yes. Charles's escape attempt failed, his body slamming into a guard, cuffs clicking. No, you can't, Ellen's voice overrode. We can... Evidence mounts. Sarah's final jab landed. Your thu jitch ends here. As guards dragged Charles away, his curses echoing down the hall, Ellen turned to Sarah, her hand extending a flash drive. More inside. His emails. Sarah pocketed it, her resolve stealing. To James. Now. The revelation of Charles's deeper web pulsed between them, Ellen's undercover role a weapon forged in secrecy. Charles's unmasked venom hinted at conspiracies buried deeper. Sarah and Ellen's bond a fuse lit for explosions ahead. You think planting fakes on black janitors hides your white-collar crimes forever, you smug bastard? Sarah Thompson roared, her boot kicking open Charles Wentworth's locked drawer in his deserted office, splintered wood flying as papers cascaded like confessions. Ellen Carter dove in beside her, her hands rifling through the mess, fingers snagging a hidden ledger, her eyes scanning furiously. Look, offshore transfers. Matches the receipt Michael found. Sarah snatched it, her nails tearing a page, her breath exploding in triumph. Millions siphoned. Dated to your embezzlement, James. James Harper burst through the door, his shoulder ramming it wider, flashlight beam slicing the darkness. Quiet. Guards might circle back. But Sarah cut him off, thrusting the ledger into his chest. Guards, after Charles's arrest, dig deeper. This ties to your loss. Ellen yanked another file, her voice ablade. Emails, coded. Clean the slate. Code for framing minorities. James's fist crushed the ledger's edge, his knuckles splitting skin. Framing? Like the envelope in my safe. Sarah's glare pierced him. Your safe, your trap. Now our weapon. She lunged for Charles's computer, her fingers pounding keys, password cracking under Ellen's whispered hack. Got in. Files unlocked. Ellen shoved her aside, her elbow jabbing Sarah's ribs. My turn. Journalist eyes. Sarah retaliated, her hand yanking Ellen back. Our fight, not your scoop. James intervened, his arms separating them, muscles straining. Together, or he walks free. The screen flickered to life, emails scrolling like indictments. Charles's words damning. Blame the cleaning crew. Easy targets. The investigation ignited, each discovery fueling the next. Sarah spotting a recurring name. Charles's cousin in accounting, her finger stabbing the screen. Him, fudging numbers. Ellen's search flew, pulling up profiles. Cousin Edward, prior fraud charges, hushed. James's phone buzzed, a text from an anonymous tip. Check the basement server. He showed it, his voice urgent. Lead? Sarah bolted up, her chair toppling. Basement, now! They charged downstairs, footsteps thundering, James's flashlight bouncing off concrete walls. Ellen kicked a door, the O-lock shattering under her heel. Servers, humming. Sarah dove to a terminal, her hands flying over dusty keys. Passwords, try his birthday. Access granted, files dumping, altered contracts, siphoned funds traced to luxury purchases. Yachts, while I scrape for rent? Sarah's roar echoed, her fist slamming the console. James cut in, his beam highlighting a hidden drive. USB, grab it. Ellen snatched it, plugging it into her laptop, data streaming. Videos, Charles meeting shady investors. Sarah leaned in, her breath hot. Faces, recognize that one? Your ex-partner. James's rage boiled, his hand crushing the laptop's edge. Him, the embezzler, linked. The video played, Charles's voice crackling. Frame the black staff, divert eyes. Ellen paused it, her finger jabbing. Proof, racial targeting. Sarah's body trembled, her nails digging into her palms. Targeting? My people, always. They copied files, drives whirring, but alarms blared suddenly, red lights flashing. Intrusion, run! James yanked the drive, his arm hauling Sarah. Exit, side door. They burst into the alley, breath gasping, Sarah clutching the drive. Close, too close. Ellen's phone rang, her answer sharp. Source? Yes, more tips. The caller whispered leads. Charles's home safe. Coded documents. James's car screeched up, engine roaring. To his house, break in. Sarah dove into the shotgun, her directions barking. Left, avoid patrols. Ellen is in the back, laptop open, decrypting on the fly. Emails confirm, 5 million gone. James swerved, his grip iron. My money, stolen. Sarah's retort sliced. Your money? Our lives ruined. The drive intensified, Ellen pulling up blueprints. Home layout, safe and study. Sarah's plan exploded. I clean houses too, no locks. Arrival at Charles's mansion, gates looming, James ramming them open, metal screeching. Inside, quick! They stormed the door, Ellen picking the lock with a click. Study, left! Sarah charged ahead, her boot-kicking cabinets, drawers flying open. Here, safe! James cracked it, a combination of emails clicking true. Documents, stacks. Ellen rifled through, her hands tearing envelopes. Ledgers, matching the forgeries. Sarah spotted a photo, Charles with investors, her finger stabbing. These men bought silence. James's fury peaked, his fist crumpling a page. Silence? On my ruin. But Ellen halted them, her voice dropping. Wait, audio files. Plugging in, Charles's voice boomed. Target Thompson, black, single mom, perfect scapegoat. Sarah's scream ripped out, her body lunging at the safe, pulling more. Scapegoat? For your greed. The chain accelerated. Photos of altered checks, emails to cousin Edward ordering frames. James's phone captured it all, flashes blinding. Evidence, ironclad. Ellen's tip line buzzed again. Check his club, meetings. Sarah's decision snapped. Go, now! They piled back in, tires burning rubber, mansions shrinking behind. At the club, the doorman barred, but Ellen flashed her badge. Press, move! Inside, whispers hushed, Sarah interrogating a bartender. Charles, here often? The man spilled under her glare. With suits, shady deals. James cornered a waiter, his grip on the arm tight. Names. Slips of paper exchanged, leads pouring. Back in the car, Ellen compiled, her laptop keys clacking. Pattern, systematic. Targeted 3 other black employees, fired on fakes. Sarah's tears burned unshed, her fist pounding the dashboard. 3? Monsters. James's resolve hardened, his speed increasing. End it. All. They hit a warehouse tip next. Doors pried open, crates hiding shredded papers. Sarah's hands reconstructed shreds, piecing puzzles. Transfers, dated to your loss. Ellen photographed, her flash relentless. Millions, laundered. Alarms wailed again, guards charging. Out! James hauled them, his body shielding as they fled, gunshots echoing false alarms in their minds. Regrouping at Sarah's apartment, Michael asleep, they spread evidence on the table. Links solid, Charles mastermind. Sarah's finger traced chains. But deeper, his father pulled strings. Ellen nodded, her search pulling records. Paternity suits hushed, racist rants online. James's outrage surged. Expose, total. The night blurred into dawn, coffee steaming, plans sharpening, infiltrate board meeting, plant bugs. Sarah's gut led, his phone, clone it. Ellen's hack succeeded, text dumping, frame more if needed, keep control. Sarah's victory cry was muffled. Got him. The probe deepened, each thread pulling tighter, evidence mounting like a noose around Charles's neck, alliances forging in fire. Uncovered layers promised storms ahead. The trio's hunt was a relentless force barreling toward truth's brutal core. You filthy bigot! Framing black workers like me to line your pockets with stolen gold? Sarah Thompson bellowed, her boots stomping on the shredded papers scattered across the warehouse floor, her hands tearing through the reconstructed fragments like claws ripping flesh. Ellen Carter froze mid-swipe on her laptop, her eyes bulging at the pieced-together ledger entry, her finger jabbing the screen. Look, 5 million, not random, tied to a network, Charles's family empire. James Harper lunged forward, his shoulder slamming into Sarah's, yanking the paper from her grip. Family, his father, board chairman, knew. Sarah shoved him back, her elbow driving into his ribs. Knew, orchestrated, blaming us inferiors to hide the rot. Ellen cut in, her voice a razor. Proof, here. Emails from Dad. Use the minorities, divert scrutiny. The revelation detonated, James's fist crushing the paper, ink smearing under his thumb. Diversion? My 20 million, funneled through this? Sarah's laugh erupted savagely, her body advancing on him. Your millions? While my people get jail time for breathing? Ellen slapped the laptop shut, her hand snatching a USB from the pile. Deeper. Audio logs. Play it. She jammed it in, speakers crackling with Charles's voice. Dad, frame Thompson, black single mom, perfect patsy for the heist. Sarah's roar filled the space, her knee driving into a crate, wood splintering. Patsy, for your dynasty's theft? James's breath exploded, his arm sweeping the table, shreds flying. Dynasty? Generations of this poison, Ellen replayed, volume blasting. Charles's confession chaining. Targeted 8 blacks, fired on fakes, lawsuits buried. Sarah's body trembled, her nails raking her arms until welts rose. 8? Families destroyed. For what? Yachts? James cut her, his voice thundering. For control. Board seats, my empire. The audio looped, father's response. Son, keep them down. Our bloodline pure. Ellen's gasp ripped out, her fist pounding the crate. Pure? Racist manifesto, embedded in every deal. Sarah lunged at the speaker, her hands twisting wires. Manifesto? This genocide by paperwork? James yanked her back, his grip bruising. Not just theft, systematic hate. The truth cascaded, Ellen pulling up linked files, her scrolls frantic. Lawsuits, hushed with payoffs, victims silenced. Sarah's tears burned tracks down her face, her wipe vicious. Silenced? Like me, almost. James's phone buzzed, an anonymous tip exploding. Check vault, family estate. He showed it, his thumb smashing reply. Go, now. Sarah bolted up, her chair crashing. Estate, raid it. They charged out, doors banging, car engine roaring to life. Ellen is in the back, laptop open, decrypting more. Vault codes, in emails. Sarah's directions barked. Right, cut through alleys. James swerved, his grip white-knuckled. This, bigger than us. Arrival at the estate, gates crashed, Metal groaning. Sarah kicked the front door, the lock shattering. Vault, basement. They descended stairs, flashlights slashing shadows. Ellen pried the vault, the combination clicking. Open. Files galore. Sarah dove in, her hands tearing through folders. Diaries, Charles's rants. Keep inferiors out. Preserve legacy. James's roar echoed. Legacy? Of hate? Ellen snatched a tape, playing it. Grandfather's voice. Segregate the workforce. Blacks for blame. Sarah's body convulsed, her fist slamming the vault wall, the echo thundering. Generations? This poison in their blood? The exposures piled, James photographing pages, board minutes, approving frames, payouts to silence. My partner, in on it. Sarah's accusation flew. Your blindness enabled this. Ellen cut through, her voice urgent. Stop. Focus. This tape proves conspiracy. Sarah replied, voices overlapping in damning harmony. Conspiracy? To crush us. James's decision snapped. Expose. Press conference. But Ellen halted, her hand on a hidden compartment. Wait, more. Photos. Charles with supremacist groups. Sarah's gasp tore out, her body lunging. Groups! Funding hate! The vault's secrets unraveled further, Ellen pulling membership cards. Donations to anti-minority lobbies. James's fist connected with the wall, and pain shot through. Lobbies? Influencing laws? Sarah's resolve hardened, her arms hauling boxes. Laws, to keep us down. They loaded evidence, breath ragged, vault door slamming shut behind. To the car, compile. In the vehicle, Ellen's fingers flew. Timeline, decades of this. Sarah's voice broke. Decades. My parents. Victims too? James's comfort attempt failed, his hand dropping. Perhaps. Ends now. Back at base, evidence spread, connections mapping, embezzlement as cover for hate-driven purges. Truth, earth-shattering. Sarah's vow rang. Shatter it, all. The unveiled horror forged their path, the conspiracy's depth a blade twisting in old wounds, priming for final strikes. Revealed depths demanded action, the trio's fury a storm gathering for cataclysmic release. You dare drag your black ass back here like you own the place, Thompson? After I buried your kind in lies for years? Charles Wentworth snarled, his gun barrel jamming into Sarah's temple as he yanked her into the dimly lit boardroom, his free hand twisting her arm until bones creaked in protest. Sarah's teeth ground together, pain lancing through her shoulder, but she stomped his instep hard, boot heel grinding bone. Barry, your lies crumble now. Racist pig. Charles's grip tightened, his breath hot and foul on her neck, shoving her forward into a chair, ropes whipping around her wrists. Crumble? I'll end you first, before your snooping ruins my empire. Ellen Carter burst through the side door, her knife flashing, but Charles whirled, his shot grazing her shoulder, blood spraying. Stay back, bitch, or she dies. James Harper charged in from the hall, his fist connecting with Charles's jaw, a crack echoing like thunder, the gun skittering across the floor. Touch her again, I'll snap your neck. Charles recovered with a roar, his elbow driving into James's gut, air whooshing out. Neck? You fool, defending trash over blood? Sarah strained against the ropes, her wrists raw and bleeding, her kick landing on Charles's knee, buckling him. Blood, your family's poison, generations of hate. Ellen dove for the gun, her wounded arm trembling, but Charles tackled her, his hands choking her throat, nails digging in. Hate, necessary, keep inferiors down. James yanked him off, his chokehold crushing Charles's windpipe. Down? Your theft exposed, millions gone. The brawl intensified, Sarah twisting free, ropes snapping, her elbow smashing Charles's nose, blood gushing. Exposed. Your emails, rants about pure bloodlines, sick. Charles spat blood, his lunge knocking her back, head cracking against the table. Sick? Reality, blacks like you steal jobs. Ellen rose, her knife slashing his arm, fabric tearing. Jobs. You stole lives, framed 8 families. Charles cut her off, his boot kicking her wound, pain exploding. Lives, collateral, for legacy. James's punch landed square, teeth flying. Legacy? Prison awaits. Sarah grabbed a lamp cord, whipping it around Charles's legs, yanking hard, and he crashed down. Prison? For you and Daddy. Guards pounded outside, fists hammering the door, but Charles laughed maniacally, his hand snatching a hidden remote. Door locked, gas vents open. Hiss filled the air, Sarah's lungs burning, her cough racking. Gas? Coward. Ellen clawed at vents, her fingers bleeding. Block it. Now. James smashed a window with his elbow, glass shattering, fresh air rushing. Out, roof! But Charles rose, his tackle pinning James, fist pummeling. Roof? You'll fall first. Sarah's knee drove into his back, spine cracking. Fall? Your empire crumbles. Ellen dragged James free, her strength waning, blood soaking her shirt. Evidence, flash drive, safe. Charles's desperation surged, his hand snatching the drive from Ellen's pocket, crushing it underfoot. Safe? Destroyed. Sarah's rage boiled, her fists raining on him. Destroyed? Copies exist. Online. He cut her, his headbutt splitting her lip, blood tasting metallic. Online, I'll hack. Erase. James's choke renewed, his arms bulging. Erase? Too late. Press has it. Ellen's radio crackled, tip line buzzing. More? His vault hacked. Charles's eyes widened, his struggle weakening. Hacked? Impossible. Sarah's boot pinned his chest. Impossible? Your arrogance blinds. The door buckled under guards' rams, wood splintering, but Sarah barred it with a chair, her body braced. Hold. Extract confession. Ellen thrust her recorder forward, thumb slamming record. Talk, now. Charles's defiance cracked, his breath gasping. Confess? To what? Survival? James's knee ground his ribs. Survival? Admit. Targeted blacks for cover. Charles's groan ripped out. Fine. Targeted to divert. Sarah's voice thundered. Divert? From theft. Millions. He nodded, broken. Millions. Family tradition. Ellen's triumph flared. Tradition? Hate-fueled empire. Guards breached, batons swinging, but Ellen flashed evidence. Stand down, arrest him. Charles's final lunge failed, his body collapsing, cuffs clicking. No, you can't. Sarah's spit landed on his face. We did. As guards hauled him, his curses faded, the room thick with blood and victory sweat. The peril's edge sharpened bonds, the confession a key unlocking final reckonings, dangers lingering in shadows cast by fallen empires. You think cuffing me ends this, you uppity black bitch? My family's buried darker secrets than your worthless life? Charles Wentworth hissed through bloodied lips, his body thrashing against the guards' iron grips as they hauled him toward the boardroom door, his eyes locked on Sarah with venom that could kill. Sarah lunged forward, her fist connecting with his cheek, skin splitting under her knuckles. Secrets? Spill them, or I carve them out. The guards yanked him back, batons raised, but Charles spat blood at her feet. Carve? You'll rot first. Evidence gone. Ellen Carter shoved past a guard, her wounded arm dripping, snatching Charles's phone from his pocket. Gone? Not this! Charles's roar exploded. Give it back, now! James Harper grabbed the phone from Ellen, his fingers crushing the case, passcode cracking under frantic taps. Locked? Not for long. Charles twisted free momentarily, his elbow slamming a guard's jaw, charging James. You'll pay. Blood for blood. Sarah tackled him mid-leap, her knee driving into his spine, ground pounding under their weight. Blood. Your racist dynasties exposed. Guards piled on, cuffs tightening, but Charles's laugh gurgled. Exposed. Shredded. Vault empty. Ellen's knife flashed again, pressing to his throat. Empty. Lie. He cut her, his head jerking. Truth. Gone forever. James's screen lit up, files dumping, deleted emails recovering. Not gone, restored. The scramble intensified, Sarah ripping Charles's jacket, hidden pockets yielding a key fob. This, vault access. Charles's eyes widened, his struggle renewing, boot kicking Sarah's shin, bone jarring. Access? To hell with you. Ellen snatched the fob, her run to the elevator doors, James and Sarah bolting after, guards dragging Charles behind. Follow, basement vault. The elevator plunged, doors hissing open to concrete halls, Sarah's boot kicking debris. Here, lock. Ellen jammed the fob, vault grinding open, shelves bare but for a single laptop. Trapped? Charles, cuffed in the elevator, sneered through the gap. Trapped, yes! Gas hissed again, vents spewing, Sarah's lungs seizing. Again? Coward! James smashed the laptop open, his hands flying over keys, files decrypting. Backups, here! Sarah coughed, her body slamming vents shut with crates, seals cracking. Hurry, poison air! Ellen's fingers blurred, pulling drives. Emails, confessions, frame blacks, preserve purity. Charles's distant roar echoed. Purity? My right! Guards muffled him, batons thumping. James's triumph surged. More! Videos! Meetings with supremacists! Sarah's grabbed for the screen, her nails scratching. Supremacists? Funding hate groups? Ellen nodded, copying frantically. Groups. Lobbying against minority hires. The gas thickened, vision blurring. Sarah's kick shattering a window grate. Air rushing. Out! Take it all! They burst from the vault, evidence clutched. Charles's guards turning on him under orders radioed in. Traitors! His thrash failed, body slamming the wall. Sarah confronted him one last time, her hand yanking his hair. Traitors? To your hate machine. James thrust the laptop forward. Machine? Dismantled, proof of generations. Ellen's final pull. Audio of Charles's father. Son, crush them, keep our world white. Sarah's scream tore. White? Your end, black justice. Charles's defiance shattered, his body sagging. Justice? Impossible. Guards hauled him away, doors sealing his fate. Regrouping in the hall, breath ragged, Sarah poured over the laptop. This, nail in coffin. James's nod was harsh. Coffin? For the whole line. Ellen's wound was bandaged hastily, her voice urgent. Line, father next, arrest warrant. Sarah's plan exploded. Warrant, raid his home, now. They charged to the car, engines screaming, tires burning. Home, coordinates from files. Ellen navigated, her directions barking. Left, cut traffic. James swerved, horns blaring. Files show, paternity suits buried, victims paid off. Sarah's fist pounded dash. Victims, black women, silenced. The drive pulsed, revelations chaining. Lobbies funded to block equality laws. Board votes rigged against diversity. Arrival at father's mansion, gates breached, alarms wailing. Sarah kicked the door, the lock buckling. Study, safe. James pried it, the combination from son's codes clicking. Open, diaries. Ellen tore pages. Rants. Inferiors breed weakness. Purge them. Sarah's body shook. Purge? Genocide blueprint. James photographed, flashes relentlessly. Blueprint? To courts. Police sirens neared, but Ellen's call stalled them. Press, hold fire. They loaded arms with boxes, escapes narrow. Father's voice on tape looping. Crush the uprising. Start with staff. Back safe, evidence compiled. Sarah's vow rang. Uprising, ours, now. James's alliance is sealed. Now, confront the board. Ellen's nod is fierce. Board? With this, fall. The ultimate proof secured, perils navigated, the evidence arsenal primed for devastation. Forged in fire, the final proofs heralded reckonings, the trio's arsenal a thunderbolt poised to strike. You pathetic worm, think crushing that drive hides your filthy racist empire from crashing down on your head. Sarah Thompson thundered, her boots stomping the shattered USB fragments in the boardroom, her hand thrusting the recovered laptop forward like a spear into Charles Wentworth's cuffed chest. Charles twisted against the guard's holds, his spit flying. Empire, yours ends here. Black whore. James Harper's fist rocketed into Charles's gut, doubling him over, breath exploding out. Whore! Watch your mouth, or lose it. Ellen Carter slammed the laptop open on the conference table, her wounded arm bleeding fresh, thumb smashing play, audio blaring, Charles's voice confessing, "Frame the blacks, keep purity." The board members froze in their seats, ties tightening like nooses, eyes darting as the tape looped. Father's rants, crush inferiors, preserve bloodline. Sarah cut the audio, her voice slicing. Bloodline? Of thieves, 5 million stolen, blamed on us. Charles's roar ripped. Stolen? Earned, your kind leeches. Ellen thrust emails projected on the wall, her remote clicking furiously. Leeches? Look, your payouts to hate groups. Board chairman, Charles's father, leapt up, his cane cracking the table. Lies, shut it down. But James blocked him, his body a wall, hand snatching the cane. Down? Your son's tapes, your voice too. The old man swung, cane whistling, but Sarah caught it midair, her grip snapping wood. Voice? Admitting genocide by Jobs? Revelations chained, Ellen scrolling files. Lawsuits buried, 8 families ruined. A board member gasped, his chair scraping back. Ruined! Proof? Sarah hurled shredded papers at him, fragments sticking to sweat. Proof? Diaries? P urged minorities. Charles's father cut in, his finger jabbing Ellen. Diaries forged. But Ellen's knife, still bloody, flashed warning. Forged? Like your contracts. James hit play on videos. Charles was supremacists, chanting slurs. Slurs? Your meetings, funded. The board erupted, voices overlapping. Impossible. Resign! Charles's thrash renewed, cuffs biting skin. Resign? I'll sue. Destroy you all. Sarah's laugh barked, her body advancing on the father. Destroy? Your lobbies. Blocking our rights. Ellen projected photos, payouts to victims, black women silenced. Rights? You pay to shut them. The father's face paled, his body slumping. Shut! Necessary! James's accusation thundered. Necessary! For theft! My millions! Guards tightened holds, but Charles headbutted one. Blood streaming. Millions? Mine by right. Sarah's knee drove up, connecting with his chin, teeth clattering. Right? Hates right. Board votes flew. Oust them. Call the police. Ellen thrust the final audio. Grandfather's tapes. Segregate. Blame blacks. Sarah's voice overrode. Blame. Generations of this venom. The father lunged for the laptop, his hands clawing, but James tackled him, bodies crashing into chairs. Venom ends now. Charles's final spit landed. Now? My lawyers. Ellen cut him, her remote smashing. Lawyers? Evidence to DA. Now. Projector flickered with timelines. Embezzlement linked to hate purges. The board member's resignation exploded. I'm out. Before jail. Sarah pinned Charles's father to the table, her forearm on his throat. Jail? For all Wentworths. The unmasking accelerated, Ellen dumping drives. Offshore accounts, drained. Charles's scream tore. Drained? Impossible. James's grin flashed. Impossible? Hacked. Your end. Guards radioed for backups, sirens wailing distance. Sarah's triumph surged, her fist pumping. End? Justice! Finally! The father gasped under her hold. Justice. Mercy. She tightened. Mercy. For our broken lives? Board dissolved, members fleeing, but Ellen barred the door. Flee? Witnesses, stay. One cracked, spilling. I knew. Small parts. James's interrogation flew. Parts. Spill all. Confessions chained. Rigged votes. Buried complaints. Sarah's question stabbed. Complaints? From blacks like me? The member nodded, sweat pouring. Yes, hushed. Ellen recorded, her device whirring. Hushed? Tapes say otherwise. Charles's defeat settled, his body sagging. Otherwise, fine, guilty. But Sarah twisted his arm. Guilty. Details. Now. He spilled. Frames planned. Funds diverted. Diverted to hate. The father's plea broke. Hate. Tradition. James's disgust peaked. Tradition? Rot in prison. Police stormed in. Cuffs multiplying. Wentworth's dragged. Sarah's final glare burned. Prison? Your new home. As they vanished, board remnants signed over. Company reformed. Ellen's press release drafted. Reformed? Story breaks now. The exposure sealed fates. Truce laid bare in blood and bites. Alliances victorious amid ruins. Bare truce ignited futures. The Vac Tran a catalyst for rebirths amid the wreckage. You sniveling coward, think your white privilege shields you from the chains you've wrapped around black necks for decades? Sarah Thompson snarled, her fist slamming the courtroom gavel stand as Charles Wentworth stood cuffed before the judge, his body quaking, sweat pouring down his ashen face. The judge's hammer cracked down, echoing like a death knell. Guilty, embezzlement, conspiracy, racial discrimination. Charles's roar ripped out, his chains rattling as he lunged at the bailiff. Guilty, rigged, by that black witch. Sarah charged the barrier, her nails raking the wood, guards shoving her back. Witch? Your confessions, taped, sealed your fate. Ellen Carter gripped Sarah's arm, her wound bandaged but throbbing, yanking her steady. Fate? Watch him fall. The sentence thundered. 20 years, federal pen. Charles's knees buckled, his body collapsing into the guard's arms, sobs choking. His years, my family. The judge cut him, hammer pounding again. Family, disgraced, assets seized. James Harper rose from the witness bench, his stride devouring the aisle, finger jabbing Charles's chest. Seized? Your millions, reparations now. Charles's spit flew, landing on James's shoe. Reparations? For leeches like her? Sarah's elbow drove into a guard's side, breaking free momentarily, her slap cracking across Charles's face, skin reddening. Leeches, we built your empire, cleaned your filth. Prosecutors piled on, evidence flashing on screens. Emails, tapes, diaries. Conspiracy, generational. Charles's father, cuffed beside him, wheezed. Generational? Lies. But Ellen thrust the projector remote, clicking to rants, purge the inferiors. The old man's body sagged, his cane clattering. Purge? Tradition? Sarah cut him, her voice ablade. Tradition? Prison tradition now. Sentences cascaded. Father 15 years, cousin 10, board accomplices fined, jailed. Sarah's triumph surged, her fist pumping. Jailed. Justice. Finally. Charles's final glare burned. Justice. I'll appeal. Crush you. James's laugh barked, his hand clamping Charles's shoulder. Crush. Broke. Reputation dust. Assets auctioned live. Yachts hammered down. Mansions stripped. Sarah bid mockingly on a painting, her bid withdrawn with a sneer. Stripped? Like you stripped our dignity. Reparations flowed. Victims compensated. Families reunited with payouts. Ellen's articles blazed headlines. Wentworth hate, empire falls. Charles's appeals were denied, his body dragged screaming. Falls? Impossible. The judge's final crack sealed it. Impossible? Done. Sarah's embrace with Michael tightened outside, his small fist clenched. Done? Bad man gone? She nodded, her chin lifting. Gone. Forever. James joined, his hand on her shoulder. Forever? Company reformed. Knots untied. Lawsuits dropped. Records cleared. Sarah's name vindicated, her stride unbowed. Cleared? New beginnings. The courtroom emptied, echoes of chains fading. Justice's weight lifting burdens long carried. Freed from shadows, the resolutions paved paths forward. Echoes of victory resonating toward hopeful horizons. You expect me to bow, and thank you for crumbs from your table, White Knight. After your blindness, let monsters like Wentworth feast on black blood. Sarah Thompson exploded, her palm slapping James Harper's extended check across the conference table, the paper fluttering to the floor like discarded shame. James recoiled, his chair scraping back, but he snatched it up, thrusting it forward again. Crumbs? This. Reparations. For you, Michael. All victims. Sarah's fist pounded the wood, knuckles splitting skin. Victims? Make it real. System change, not handouts. Ellen Carter leaned in from the side, her bandaged arm slamming a blueprint down. Change? Start here. Company overhaul. James nodded fiercely, his voice cutting. Overhaul? Done. Diversity board. Scholarships. Sarah crossed her arms tightly, her muscles coiling like springs. Scholarships? For show? James cut her, his hand grabbing hers, forcing the check into her palm. Show? Real. Michael's school paid. Full ride. Sarah wrenched free, the check crumpling in her grip. Ride? Earned, not pity. Ellen's laugh barked, her finger jabbing the blueprint. Pity? Look, new policy, minority hires priority. Sarah's eyes narrowed, her body advancing. Priority? Prove it. Fire holdouts. James's agreement thundered. Fired. Yesterday. Clean slate. The room pulsed with tension, Sarah's breath ragged, but she unfolded the check, her nod reluctant. Slate? Build on it. Community fund. James's resolve surged, his strides to the whiteboard, marker flying. Fund. $1 million. Named after you? Sarah's retort sliced. Me? No. After victims. Ellen joined, her additions chaining. Victims? Training programs? Legal aid. Sarah's alliance ignited, her marker snatching, sketching expansions. Aid. Housing for fired families. James's approval exploded. Housing. Built. Company land. The plans cascaded, each idea fueling the next. Internships for Black youth. Audits for bias. Sarah's voice rose. Bias? Rooted out. Training's mandatory. Ellen's nod is sharp. Mandatory? With experts, Black-led. James funded it on the spot, his phone dialing donors. Led. Hired now. Michael burst in, his small fist clutching drawings, hugging Sarah's leg. Mom, school called. Scholarship? Sarah knelt, her arms enveloping him. Scholarship? Yours, dream big. James crouched beside, his hand ruffling the boy's hair. Big? Lawyer. Like you want. Michael's grin flashed, his drawings thrust forward. Want? To fight bad guys like you did. Sarah's tears stung, her wipe fierce. Did? We all did. The moment broke, James rising. All? Company renamed. Equity Enterprises. Sarah's surprise hit. Renamed Bold. Ellen's blueprint updated. Bold? Branches in Black neighborhoods. Jobs flowing. Donations poured. James's calls chaining. Flowing? Match my pledge. Sarah directed, her commands sharp. Pledge? Sender Essers. Mine first. Ellen's press release drafted. First, story viral. Inspire more. The overhaul accelerated. The board diversified. First meeting was chaotic but resolved. Sarah chaired, her gavel cracking. Resolved? Policies pass. Opposition from holdouts crushed, their resignations forced. Forced? Good riddance. James's atonement deepened, his visits to victims' homes, checks delivered personally. Riddance? Healing starts. One home, a fired worker's embraces tight. Starts? Thank you. Job back? Sarah nodded beside James. Back? Promoted. Chains of gratitude formed, families rebuilding. Michael's school tour, his eyes wide. Rebuilding? My classroom, huge. Sarah's pride swelled, her hand in his. Huge. Earn it. Community events launched. Sarah speaking. Earn? We did. Now thrive. James funded expansions, clinics, education hubs. Thrive? Nationwide. Months blurred, initiatives blooming. Scholarships awarded, Michael's first. Awarded. Proud. Ellen's documentaries aired, exposing depths, donations surging. Surging? Empire reformed. Sarah's role grew, VP of Equity, her decisions sharp. Reformed? Lives changed. James's final act, a trust fund for Michael. Changed? Legacy mended. Sarah's acceptance was reluctant but firm. Mended together. The grand actions rebuilt foundations, atonement forging unbreakable ties, hope radiating from ruins. Rebuilt strong, the redemptions promised enduring light, legacies rewritten in unity's fire. You think your fancy reparations erase the scars your world carved into black skin like mine? You reformed billionaire fraud? Sarah Thompson snarled, her boot kicking open the new office door at Equity Enterprises, her body charging toward James Harper's desk, finger jabbing his chest as he rose. James's hand shot out, grabbing her wrist, his grip iron but eyes pleading. Fraud? This, our victory, built together. Sarah wrenched free, her elbow driving into his side. Together? After your test sparked the hell? Ellen Carter burst in from the side, her healed scar flexing as she slammed a report down. Hell? Look, company profits up, diversity thriving. Sarah whirled on her, her fist clenching. Thriving! Prove it! Beyond checks! James cut in, his stride circling the desk, blueprint unrolling with a snap. Prove? New branches, black-owned suppliers prioritized. Sarah's laugh barked sharply, her hands snatching the blueprint, tearing a corner. Prioritized? Show me lives changed, not paper. Michael rushed in, his backpack swinging, hugging Sarah's leg. Mom, school's great. New friends. Sarah knelt, her arms crushing him close, voice softening. Friends? Earned. Your smarts. James joined, his knee cracking as he crouched. Smarts? Scholarship fund, named after you. Michael's eyes widened, his small fist pumping. Me? Cool. Sarah rose, her glare softening reluctantly. Cool, if it helps others. The room ignited with plans, James's marker flying on the board. Others expanded, nationwide hubs. Ellen added her additions chaining. Hubs? With legal clinics, fight discrimination. Sarah's alliance surged, her marker snatching. Fight, add housing, for displaced families. James's approval thundered. Housing? Funded. Ground breaks tomorrow. Michael drew on the board's edge, his crayon scribbling heroes. Mom, James, Ellen. Heroes? Like us. Sarah's pride swelled, her hand ruffling his hair. Us? Yes, bad guys beaten. James's vow rang. Beaten. Legacy rewritten. The initiatives cascaded, internships launched, and Michael's first class graduated. Graduating? Proud marches. Months flew by, with Sarah's VP role commanding, board meetings, her gavel-cracking decisions. Decisions? Policies pass, equity enforced. Holdouts challenged, their arguments sliced. Enforced? Too fast. Sarah's retort exploded. Fast? After decades delayed? James backed her, his presence unyielding. Delayed. No more. Community events swelled, Sarah speaking. More? Unite. Build. Crowds cheered, her words chaining hope. Hope! From ashes! Ellen's documentaries aired, viewership soaring. Soaring? Awards won. Sarah's acceptance speech thundered. One for all victims. Michael's growth accelerated, his debates sharp. Victims? I fight too. Lawyer soon. Sarah's embrace tightened. Soon? Dream big. James funded his prep, tutors drilling. Big. Harvard-bound. Family dinners forged. Sarah, Michael, James, Ellen. Plates clashing, laughter echoing. Bound together. James's toast rose. Together to honesty. From a boy's note. Sarah's glass clinked. Note sparked revolution. Stories shared. Wentworth's fall, Charles rotting in a cell, his pleas ignored. Ignored, justice served. Father disowned, fortune stripped. Stripped to our funds. Company awards poured. Inclusion leader. Profit ethical. Ethical, lives lifted. Sarah's innovations, mentorships, bias trainings. Trainings, mandatory, hearts changed. James's atonement complete, his speeches humble. Changed by you. Michael's essay won prizes. You, heroes all. Sarah's tears stung at the ceremony, her hug crushing him. All proud. Community center expanded. Name Jefferson, Sarah's maiden name. Jefferson, legacy mine. Events hosted, scholarships awarded, families tearful. Tearful, grateful. Years blurred. Michael graduating from law school, cap tossed. Grateful, valedictorian. Sarah's cheers thundered. Valedictorian, my boy. James's gift, firm partnership. Boy, man now. Ellen's book launched. Man's story immortalized. Pages turned, truths etched. Immortalized, lessons learned. Sarah's final speech at Harvard. Learned, honesty triumphs over hate. Audience roared, her words chaining. Hate defeated by action. James beside her, hand in hers. Action, love too. Michael's practice boomed. Cases won for the oppressed. 2, full circle. Wentworth's faded. Charles paroled, broken, jobless. Circle, their end, our beginning. Father dead in disgrace. Beginning, thriving. Sarah's empire, foundations, speeches, changes. Thriving, generations inspired. At Michael's wedding, the family united. Inspired, hope eternal. James's retirement, eternal, passed to you. Sarah's nod was firm. You, we carry on. The tale closed, bonds unbreakable, lessons profound. Honesty forges justice. Action heals divides. Hope rises from ashes. Sarah's final vow, rises forever. United in victory, the endings wove tapestries of renewal. Eternal flames kindled from once broken spirits. In the end, this story reminds us that true honesty, even from the smallest voice, can shatter walls of prejudice and corruption, proving that justice thrives when we stand up for what's right and use our power to uplift the vulnerable. What about you? Share your thoughts or a personal story of overcoming injustice in the comments below. We'd love to hear how kindness has changed your world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next tale of triumph and transformation. Stay inspired.